Hello everybody, Salty Sweet Ren here, and I'm back with another episode of Swooning Over Stands. Now don't worry, the Steven Universe episode reaction is coming tonight after the episode actually comes out. I'm recording this while I have a chance to, because I haven't had an opportunity to for a while. And for those of you who don't know, this is a fan-made dating simulator for the show Gravity Falls, wherein you can choose to date Stanford or Stan Lee, hence Swooning Over Stands. And it is really well made, really well written. From what I have not actually played this through completely yet, but so far, and from what I saw in the Alex Hirsch livestream when he played it. And last time I left off here where I think that this is a point where you decide whether you're going to date Stan, who is currently working on the car, or Ford, who is this guy right here. And I've thought about it, and I think I'm going to go with Ford. I might play it through a second time and try and date Stan that time. But for now, let's get to know Ford. So, Ford, wait! Need a hand with that recipe? I can handle it myself. Are you sure you couldn't use a hand? Ford looks away then, and you follow his averted line of sight to Mabel, who's just mouthed something that you couldn't catch. When she catches you looking her way, Mabel gives you a 100-watt smile, the picture of innocence. Ford rubs the back of his neck. Yes, I suppose I can accept some help. And with that, assured that Ford is on the task, you spot Mabel rolling away with Waddles into the living room. Before we get started, I suppose I should give you an introduction. Ren, tell me, do you believe in the supernatural? I want to. That's the thing, I do want to. Well, you're about to come face to face with the unexplainable yourself. You see, Gravity Falls isn't some quiet, unassuming backwater town. Much more lurks below its surface. Ford pockets the crumpled journal papers and gestures for you to join him as he walks. You do, and follow him through the living room and into the gift shop. For example, you must have heard Mabel mention a pterodactyl. Most would say none exist in the living world today, but I say not if you knew where to look. If anyone else told you this, you'd be disinclined to believe them, but the authority Ford carries is surprisingly compelling. Ford reaches under the cashier counter and retrieves a package of vintage-looking gum, inspecting it for a moment before slipping it in his pocket. He looks around in thought. Hold on to my explanation for the moment. I need to retrieve some more supplies. Ford ushers you out of the gift shop entrance so that you find yourself on the outside of the shack, then closes the door behind you. I would have liked to look through it or something. Okay. Should I turn and try to peer through the window, or respect the man's privacy? He's clearly got business in that gift shop. I should respect his privacy. That's the kind of thing I would do normally. That's what I'm gonna try and do. With that one, with the option of asking about Ford or going to see the car, what I would normally have done would have been to go check on my car. But because that, I think, was a deciding factor for Stan or Ford, I went with Ford. But other than this, I'm going to try and go through doing the stuff that I would do normally. So, respect the man's privacy. He's clearly got business in that gift shop. Let's see if being myself actually gets me a date, or if I'm not that good at dating. You, correctly and politely, just stand out here until Ford returns. You maybe scan the sky for a pterodactyl while you wait. Not too long later, the door opens behind you, and Ford joins you outside, looking no different than before. He must have stored whatever supplies he went to retrieve in his coat, but a trench coat falls too naturally on his figure for him to be hiding much. Where were we? Ah, yes. Ford pulls a pen a pen and pad of paper from his coat, walking as he writes. Just as you're about to head out, he stops and smacks his hand to his face. Oh shoot, 1 second! Ford hurries back to the house, realizing he forgot one important component to this adventure, a butterfly net. Before you get a chance to ask, he strides out ahead of you, obviously in no mind to tell you what it's for quite yet. The pair of you walk past the shack and down a well-worn path into the trees surrounding the house, sunlight peeking between the pines. He double-checks whatever he scribbled onto the paper and tucks it into one of his coat's seemingly infinite pockets. He stops and turns to face you with a definitive nod. My recipe for repellent called for a sprig of lavender, two thin slices of ginseng, a drop of bat blood, a chunk of amber, and 3.5 milliliters of ink. He pauses, staring down at the path in thought. Obviously, I already have all those components on hand, all except for the one last ingredient, a single moth's wing. From Mothman itself. Okay. You can't help it. You gasp. Ford glances at you, and you think you see a hint of a smile before he turns back to the path and continues along, wind ruffling through his hair. You see, Mothman is the very creature on that page that Waddles seems to fear. Using a piece of itself should ward it away, or at least lead it to believe that Waddles isn't for eating. I would have already completed the repellent years ago if I had managed to collect that wing. Was it too difficult? Oh, I just never got around to it. Besides, Mothman used to come bat at this lamp I had lit out in the backyard. It seems like such an innocent hobby that I never had the heart to chase it off. But if this brings Mabel and her pig a peace of mind, then the time has come to finish this. Sunlight filters in through the trees, causing dappled shadows across Ford's coat as he leads in front of you. Alright, so how much further are we walking? How do you know so much about this stuff? Or wait for him to speak? Silence is awkward, so I'd probably ask, how does he know so much about this stuff? I study anomalies. Anything unusual, strange, and just plain weird. I began my research in this town because it was, and remains, a hotbed of paranormal activity. I made this exact trip years ago, though at the time, I had no idea where I was going. It was just dumb luck that I managed to tail Mothman back to its cave from my backyard. Navigating the forest by moonlight is poetic, but not advisable. I made plenty of other discoveries. Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot to mention. I downloaded the sound effects for this because apparently the game didn't come with them. So I went and found them and downloaded them. So you'll sometimes hear his actual voice. So or the other characters' voices as well in the background. So I made plenty of other discoveries as well. From fairies to gnomes to amalgams of creatures who were never meant to cross to... Ah, wait! Ford reaches into his pocket and pulls out the slightly crumbled pages that Mabel had pushed into his hand earlier, smoothing them out and shuffling through them. Take a look at these. They're more definitive proof than just my word. You accept the pages from him and find that they're scanned pages from some sort of journal. Just as you had heard Mabel say, fluid cursive tells of Mothman, beard cubs, scampfires, and more. Ford gestures to them and explains. I detail my discoveries in a series of research journals, the remaining pages at least. I wonder where Stanley was keeping these. Let's see. I'd probably ask, yes, of course. Who else? I wouldn't know if they're photorealistic, considering that like they're fictional, not fictional, but fantastical beings. I mean, for us they're fictional, but that one they're fantastical. See the line work, the ink washes. Like I'm a bit of an artist. I'm not that good, so like line work is something I struggle with myself. So I definitely Alright.
My work is now far better, but I appreciate the compliment.
Despite his understated words, Ford looks surprisingly pleased.
I detailed my discoveries in a series of research journals, the remaining pages at least. I wonder where Stanley was keeping these.
Oh, so this is... So we can ask more of this stuff. So were any of these creatures ever dangerous is another thing. So it's still the same conversation, so...
Oh, extremely. Some were worse. Dangerously annoying.
Though Ford seems to find his own comments amusing, he doesn't fail to notice your unease.
I do have weapons in case things escalate, so there's no need to worry.
You brought weapons?
Not many. I have a stun gun, my fists, and my sharp wit.
I feel safer already. Let's see. So now we have new options. So I'd probably ask about the creatures themselves. I probably have forgotten about the magnet gun completely by that point, to be honest. Whoa. Okay, I'm putting my phone somewhere else. I'd probably forgotten about the magnet gun. My mind tends to, like, things slip from it. I wouldn't have thought about it as a potential weapon, considering it's a magnet thing. So I'd probably ask about the creatures, honestly. If that's what we were already talking about, I'd continue talking about the creatures. Okay. So I shuffle through the pages, deciding which one to ask about. So if I'm looking at the pages, I would probably look at the one that... It says here that Mothman turns into a bunch of moths?
Yes, that's how we'll get the moth wing.
Then why not use mothballs as repellent?
Well, I've never tried. Could the most conventional method be the unconventional one? Or would Mothman be able to overcome its mothly nature and persist?
I'll probably keep asking about the creatures. Since they mentioned the pterodactyl...
I doubt we'll spot it today, but perhaps we can go birdwatching later if you're interested.
Let's see. I don't remember the gnomes. And the floating eyeballs, maybe? If that's one of the pages, then...
Sounds disconcerting, doesn't it? I once released them in my house by accident and found eyeballs in the most unsuspecting places for months. My guests chose not to comment on my choice of house decor.
And if there's another thing, I'd probably ask about the leprechaun if I'm looking at the pages. Ford groans. You wait for further answer, but that's it. And at that point, I'd probably walk in silence. Suddenly, Ford puts an arm out in caution, slowing his pace. You narrowly manage to not collide with him, and take a quick glance around to see... nothing?
Look, there!
You see what looks like a bundled-up plaid shirt moving along the forest floor. Wait, is that a beaver's tail?
It looks like... a platypus! Ah, what are you doing all the way out here?
Don't you mean a platypus? Ford shakes his head with a grin. Okay.
I meant what I said. It's a platypus. A platypus.
I think I say them both the same way. Platypus, platypus. Yeah, I don't think I'm noticing a difference in how I'm saying it, so... Ford moves into a crouch, but stays at a respectable distance, following the small creature. You watch him, and after a moment, mimic his actions. Ford's giving the creature a bright smile, the first of its kind you've seen since leaving Mabel at the shack.
You're a cute one, aren't you? And one of my favorite patterns, too.
Ford motions you to move forward a little more to the distance he's maintaining.
If I were to rate the oddities that live in this forest on a scale of least to most annoying, these little guys would get immunity. They have done nothing wrong, and I appreciate them for it. This is so cute, actually. Oh my gosh.
As the two of you watch in quiet appreciation, the platypus ambles into the underbrush and vanishes from view.
What a cute little guy.
The two of you continue deeper into the forest. The foliage seems denser now, and you look through the treetops for a glimpse of the sun, which has by now dropped low in the sky. It had already been getting late when you left, but you hadn't thought that Mothman would be this far out. Almost as though he'd read your mind, Ford answers for you.
Mothman is rather reclusive, and as such, lives deeper within the forest than bolder creatures like the gnomes. Are you alright?
Huh?
That is, are you tired at all? I should have asked sooner. It's just been such a long time since I've traveled with anyone new. Stanley, tends to speak his mind without my asking.
Since he's someone kind of new for me, I wouldn't be a complainer, but if I do know someone, I kind of tend to complain. But I'd probably just brush off like, I'm fine, really.
I'm glad to hear it. Still, we have some time until sunset. Let's wait here in the meantime.
So I'd probably say, why wait until sunset if these are the options? Between these, I'd probably ask about that.
You'll see.
The moment the sun touches the horizon through gaps in the treetops, Ford gestures for the two of you to continue. You hadn't noticed, but you'd been resting within short distance of a small clearing that holds a cylindrical stone marker.
The stone marker bears intricate swirls carved...
Wait, why am I doing the Ford voice? This isn't Ford talking. The stone marker bears intricate swirls carved into its surface. Ford reaches into his coat and produces the packet of gum from earlier, opening it and dispensing the pieces out onto his palm.
Gum?
I'd probably say no thanks, to be honest, but I feel like that might be the wrong option. I said I'm gonna do what I would do, so I'm gonna say no thanks. I hope that I still get a good score. Unsure of why you came all the way out here to unwrap gum at sunset, you decline a stick of gum. Ford puts the remaining gum in his coat breast pocket. He unwraps the now empty gum packet to reveal that it was hiding a small piece of parchment, folded up to act as lining. He smooths it out against the stone, holding it under the deep orange red light of the sunset. You step closer to look over Ford's shoulder. The parchment holds a detailed drawing of the swirls carved into the stone, documenting every crack on the surface. As you watch, a golden cursive unfolds itself across the page, seemingly fueled by the sunset's warm light. Ford reads the words as they appear.
Such a place the Mothman doth rest, but please do not disturb his nest. If kindness be something thou bereft. Ford lifts the parchment a little higher to prevent his shadow from obscuring the rest of the line. Follow thy nature and turn left.
So, I'm trying to remember what bereft means so I can figure out what it means. Bereft. What does bereft mean? If it means... It's like saying, please do not disturb his rest. So I think that's supposed to be like about being kind. Like, and if you're being kind, don't disturb his nest. So if you want to be kind, not disturb his nest, go left. So I think we turn right. I hope I'm right. So, right.
Something tells me that's not right. Oh.
Then left?
I think so, Ren. We must press onward. Or we press onward.
Left leads you to a dimly lit cave. which Ford says he remembers well, except last time he was here was pitch black since he arrived in the middle of the night. From its depths, you hear the faint sound of dripping water echoing off the cave's shadow-shrouded walls. You slow as your eyes attempt to adjust to the low light. I'd probably be a little freaked out seeing, just this dark... Ford pauses in front of you, reaching into his coat for something.
Hold on, I have a flashlight in here somewhere. This cave has never received much natural light, you see, and...
He rummages further and you see a couple dice, the pad of paper from earlier, and a quill. He has some custom pocket work going on in there too, and you bet one of his coat's inner pockets has a pen protector in it.
Here we are, at last. Allow me to... Darn, out of batteries.
Wait, I think I have one. Wait, why would I have a battery? You pull out your... Oh, a flashlight. You pull out your phone and turn on its flashlight. The light is small, but it does its job.
Huh, you saved our lives. You saved our hides there, Ren. I was about to pull out a matchbook.
With your light guiding the way, you and Ford move further into the cave, which yawns wide around you. It isn't until the sliver of natural light from the entrance disappears that Ford speaks again.
It's been years since I've been here, decades even at this point, but I always remember the eye bats as one of my first discoveries when I arrived at Gravity Falls.
Oh, so this is that cave that we saw in that one scene where he's like, I began to keep a journal. You see him with the butterfly net chasing the eye bats. Is this that cave? I think that's what this is. How'd you find them in the first place?
One got into my house, you see. I was making breakfast one morning, and one managed to find my cereal box. When I poured the cereal into the bowl, it came fluttering out, agitated, like it belonged there. The nerve.
He still sounds so indignant even years later that you laugh.
I wanted to contain it for further study, but unfortunately it managed to get away. As I thought about it afterwards, its pupil had constricted against the light, unfamiliar of the bright light in the kitchen. So, either it's nocturnal, or... It lives in the deepest, darkest cave in Gravity Falls. I found them easily after that.
Did you manage to catch one?
Somewhat. I came running through this is the cave. I came running through this cave with a butterfly net in my wits. I brought a working flashlight that time. They all hid in dark corners. Once I turned the flashlight off, they flocked to me. I caught 18 of them that day, but it reminded me of the stealth uses of... The rapid sound of clicking claws against stone startles you, a shiver running up your spine. The dark. You turn off your light. Ford taps your shoulder and gestures for you to keep moving forward. Oh boy, I'm scared of the dark, honestly. So I don't know how I'd react. Eventually, the narrow passage widens into a large room. The darkness shrouds the source of the dripping water from view, but as your eyes adjust, you squint to see a strange winged shadow. A shadow with eyes that glow red in the near darkness like rubies. Your breath catches in your throat as the realization comes over you. Ford is apparently fairly close to you in the room. When you find when he speaks from a few inches from your shoulder. You catch the shadow of his arm swinging out in a wide arc, like he's introducing you to... Ren, I'd like for you to meet the Mothman. He whispers, but even in the dark, you see him grinning excitedly at you. Ford looks between you and the Mothman, apparently hoping for a dramatic reaction. Your speechlessness seems to satisfy him. Don't worry, it hasn't noticed us yet.
Now, listen.
Okay, here's the plan. You make contact with Mothman, and I...
He pulls out a butterfly net and a large lidded jar. Where that one came from within his code of mysteries is lost to you.
We'll capture one of the 100 moths that comprise it. Wait, I get to touch Mothman? The Mothman? You're hitting it with a butterfly net? Seriously? Isn't this a little dangerous? I would probably ask, not as in oh my gosh, but I'd probably ask it more nervously, but it's still pretty much what I would ask, so. Yes, and it turns into 100 black witch moths. It's like experiencing a swarm of locusts, surprising when you're not expecting it. Remember, even just a light touch is enough.
You steel yourself, awaiting Ford's signal. He waves his hand to coax you forward, and then it's up to you to decide how to, well, make contact.
Oh my gosh, the music. Now I'm a little nervous. Okay, because of the music. I could totally mess this up. Let's see. Blind spots or stealth? Let's see. I don't think I'd run, but I'd still kind of try to get there stealthily. Both of these seem... I'd approach with stealth, probably. You tiptoe towards the Mothman, remembering Ford's comment on the dark and trying to channel your inner stealth skills. Of course, that's the moment your... No! That's the moment your phone decides to start blasting Taking Over Midnight by Ampersandra. You're confused before remembering that Mabel added her number to your contacts and must have made her custom ringtone. Mabel? Mothman turns at the noise and screeches, but before you can barrel into it, the creature explodes into 100 moths, fluttering around you, getting stuck in your shirt, and skittering around your face, surrounding you in mothy hell. Your task accomplished, Ford rushes into the large swarm of moths, waving the butterfly net with a few unsuccessful swipes. He tries swatting the more aggressive ones away, but there are too many. Why don't you catch the more aggressive ones or something? I don't know. I guess I would do that. You grab your phone and quickly switch the light on, running to Ford's side and holding it up high. You even attempt to call them over, despite knowing they don't respond to sound. Before long, they all crowd around the phone. The sight of light flickering and reflecting off so many small wings would be somewhat captivating if you hadn't just been in the midst of them. Ford puts the butterfly net back away, and jar in hand, carefully scoops one of the moths up. Well, that could have gone better, but we've succeeded nonetheless. I hope this worked out the way you wanted me to, Ford. I really hope. As Ford pockets the jar, you turn off the light. With no light and no threat to focus in on, the cloud disperses. That was amazing! Ford laughs, brushing dust and dirt off his trench coat. You could say that. Our completed repellent is within sight. Let's head back. Ford turns to leave the cave. He looks calm and content. You, on the other hand, are buzzing with energy under an adrenaline rush. Should you go for a high five? Should I? I think I should. I think that'd be nice. You raise your hand in the universally understood offer of a high five. Ford pauses, then grins, high-fiving you, or rather, 6. Oh my gosh, that face! When you and Ford finally reach the cave entrance, you find the forest that you left in the dying light is now awash with a silvery glow. A gap between the leaves overhead provides a view of the night sky, along with a long string of stars. A few more steps, and the Milky Way comes into view, looking as if it tear across the fabric of the sky. Ford notices you looking. See something? The pterodactyl doesn't usually come out this late, but being a prehistoric creature, its behavior is rather unpredictable. I've seen the Milky Way before, but it's been such a long time because where I live. I've had a couple chances this summer. It looks stunning over a calm ocean at night. It's incredible up here. He gazes into the night sky. A whole year has passed, yet it still feels strange to see a sky I recognize. What? Oh, traveling. You know, I was in a different part of the world. You both stare up at the sky in a comfortable silence for a few more moments. The quiet of the forest settles in, along with a distant sound of flowing water.
and you find yourself surprisingly glad that Ford had accidentally pulled you here, if this is one of the moments you get to experience. Out of the corner of your eye, you swear you see Ford looking at you instead of up, but when you tilt your head back down, his attention is elsewhere. Eventually, the two of you come to a wordless mutual agreement to continue on, and you're walking again. You'll have to show me the other creatures that live here sometime. You're glad you said so when you look over and find that Ford looks so pleasantly surprised to hear it. His chest puffs out with pride.
Of course. Maybe we'll even get to spot the hide behind, or tag along with Dipper when he next visits the multi-bear.
The what? Ford taps his temple, grinning.
You'll have to wait until I show you to find out. Why is that smile so cute? Oh my gosh. I didn't think, but okay. I'm holding you to that. Oh my gosh, I'm actually blushing now. This is only a little bit into the game, but wow, okay. We have some time left before we get it back, if you're up for another walk.
You must make a face, because Ford looks back to you and laughs.
We're not far, I promise. I just thought I might answer a few of your questions, if you have any.
If he's offered about questions, I'd probably say, you must stay in great shape if you do this all day.
Ha! You know, actually, this sort of thing isn't part of my exercise regimen.
Ford turns left at the stone marker, towards the sound of the river, and sure enough, after a while, it comes into view. The moonlight illuminates the water as you walk along it. After following the river for quite a few minutes, the shoreline expands into a small round lake in the center of a clearing. Wait a second, the island's not there. Why did did the head leave or something? The shoreline expands to a small round lake in the center of a clearing. Overhanging is a large flat rock, the kind that could be used as a less than effective diving board in times of emergency. The emergency being that one just had to jump in the lake. However, neither yourself or Ford really look in the direction of the diving board. He leads you toward the edge of the... I'm really stumbling over my words right now. Let me get a drink of water really quick. However, neither yourself or Ford really look in the direction of the diving board. He leads you toward the edge of the lake, where a relatively flat boulder could substitute for a bench, and the two of you take a seat. Let's see, I'd probably ask about staying, like why they're letting me stay. I think that's what it's saying. I'd probably ask why. Are you really okay with me staying here?
Absolutely. I owe it to you, after all. You helping me today, however, was not part of the plan. You're making it rather hard to settle my debt. Oh, sorry.
I think you did me a favor by just letting me come along today. The two of you share a smile. I'd probably ask about his family. So, Mabel's the one who keeps asking, who keeps calling and getting involved. So what's Mabel like?
In short, a force to be reckoned with. She radiates charm and positivity, and has depths of determination that I can only guess at. You'll find out yourself, most likely. It's hard not to wake up one day and find yourself her friend. Perhaps you already are.
He wiggles his fingers spookily in the air, and you laugh.
I don't doubt it.
So, what is Dipper like?
Dipper is very intelligent. In many ways, he reminds me of, well, myself. Last summer, he found the research journals I mentioned, and instead of overlooking them, made some impressive contributions of his own. He has since started his own journal, and I look forward to see where life will take him. He has made me prouder than I can say.
So I'll probably ask about Seuss.
Ah, the handyman, Seuss. He's, well, I'm still not sure what he does exactly, but Stan gave him the rights to conduct his business with the shack, so he spends his day giving out tours, selling merchandise, fooling the townsfolk, giving no refunds, and the like. I may not have been around the original Mystery Shack very often while Stan was still running it, but I believe Seuss is doing the brand name good. And then what is Stan like? Stubborn, foolhardy, a liar, and a cheapskate. But a true hero at heart. There's no one else I'd rather call my brother.
So I'll probably ask about the creatures. You said to wait, but can I at least get a preview of what I'd be getting into?
Not content to discover them yourself, Well, has anyone told you about the Gobblewonker?
You snort, taken aback by the name, but compose yourself when Ford simply raises an eyebrow. I don't think so, no.
Not even the tourist guide? Does the office even read my letters?
Ford mutters to himself something about updating the tourist guide to warn against local dangers. He sighs with a frustration that's reserved for bureaucracy, but soon lightens up at the prospect of getting to introduce you to another strange creature.
Well, the Gobblewonker is a large sea creature that lives in this very lake. One could say it's our version of the Loch Ness Monster. My old research assistant apparently saw it at some point. He said it was large, gray, and scaly, with a long neck like a giraffe. You wouldn't have had any odd sightings yet, have you? It's only been 24 hours, but my own first encounter with the strange occurred shortly after my arrival as well.
I don't remember what it said happened last night. But I probably would have remembered if I knew. I'll say maybe. I saw Mabel stick kitten-shaped stickers all over her face today. That must... Oh, that's probably not it. Speaking of cats, hi Simba. That must count for something, right? But probably not. Ford laughs.
I'll be sure to write that anomaly down once we get back to the shack. Yes, the Mystery Shack used to be my house, once upon a time, and now it's a tourist trap. I'm glad for what it's become as a home. I just wish it weren't so offending to each of the senses.
Ford looks out across the lake in thought.
Ren, I have to admit, I didn't want to take you with me earlier today. I thought I'd be walking myself into an uncomfortable social situation.
So did you, to be honest.
And you did well out there. Not many tourists could handle the kind of task we just completed. This had the potential to have gone disastrously. I mean, a butterfly net against Mothman? Easily a 3% success rate.
Sometimes the more Ford speaks, the less reassured you feel until all that's left is a distant unease. You smile and nod anyway. The two of you sit in another moment of quiet night air, pleasantly chill around you, until Ford then again breaks it.
We should head back now. I'm sure Mabel will want to hear we've been successful.
You stand and give Ford a hand up from the makeshift bench. Ford takes the lead again, and soon you're no longer able to catch sight of the lake when you glance back. Ford gradually adjusts his pace to yours, walking side by side with you in companionable silence all the way back to the shack.
Almost there.
You recognize, from the incredibly flashy signs toting phrases like Mystery Shack this way and Sasquatch to your left, that you are extremely close to arriving back at the shack. As you and Ford leave the tree line, you see bright lights shining on the porch. You make out the faint outline of the kids' shadows as they run through the house and emerge in the attic window, and Mabel pushes it open, leaning out. Grunkle Ford! Finally! You guys took so long I had time to cover waddles and macaroni!
Why would you do that?
I have my reasons! Did you get the thing?
Yes, and I'm coming inside so we can stop shouting! Ren, come along. We've got a pig to save.
Ford strides into the shack, a man on the mission. You grin and follow, but not before taking one last look at the night sky. Yeah, maybe your stay won't be too bad after all. And back inside the shack, the grand conclusion to your expedition to Mothman's cave is spritzing Mabel's pig with the newly finished deterrent until the poor piglet reeks of lavender. You see Mabel and Dipper head up to bed looking sleepier than usual as a result. Something about lavender is so soothing to the senses that you crash out fairly soon afterwards, face first on your makeshift bed. I know that lavender is one of the few things my cats react to instead of catnip, so I don't know. And oh, so I guess we're kind of. So I did fairly good. I didn't see the full image. I think there's notes saying like, can you give me dating tips? You're so good at this. I didn't see what the other one said. But oh my gosh, I'm gonna save for now. I'm doing another slot. But return. So I'm gonna wrap this up here. I think I've been recording for a while now. How long has it been going? 41 minutes. Okay, I'm gonna wrap up the episode here. And wow, I was not expecting that to go so well. So, alright. I guess I'll see you guys all in the next episode.